crime scene or not exclude an individual, and that non-exclusion or inclusion would come with a statistic. So that's what DNA is in a nutshell. And then the follow-up questions was factors that affect. So, like I said, DNA sources of DNA in our body are blood, saliva, hair, roots of hair, bones, semen. Those are the fluid kind of, those are rich sources of DNA. But a lot of our evidence is skin cells, something that we really can't see. And the skin cells left behind on objects is what we're examining for. That's called touch DNA. And factors such as there's both physical and environmental factors that can influence how much DNA is left behind and how much of that DNA that is left behind is actually not degraded or it's of good quality. Those factors can include sunlight. Sunlight is very detrimental on DNA. It degrades it. So does dirt, damp environments, warm, damp environments that have bacteria growing or mold spores. That is actually detrimental to, influences it in a negative way, our ability to collect a lot of DNA. Physical factors. Let's start with the surface of an object. If it's smooth, our DNA may not be left behind in an optimal manner because smooth surfaces wouldn't adhere to our skin cells as well. Rough surface such as a rock, it has more ridges and a rough surface that might influence the adherence of our skin cells. It'll rub against our skin a little bit more, so we might expect more skin cells to be left behind. Other factors, physical factors. How long was the contact between the individual and the object? A very transient, a very short contact with an object might not leave a lot of skin cells behind. The longer you handle something, the more skin cells. Individual's ability to slough off skin cells readily, whether that would be called shedder or non-shedder. That's another factor that can influence how much DNA is left behind. That's just to name a few of the factors that could influence.
Now, as a DNA analyst, have you had experience in processing the swabs prior to the genetic interpretation?
Yes. Okay.
And what type of equipment is utilized, and is it the gold standard in the DNA community?
So yes, we use robotic equipment that eliminates a lot of the interaction that we have to have with the sample, and that actually helps eliminate any potential sample mix-ups or contamination, and it is the gold standard.
What steps does the technician undergo to prepare the swabs of certain evidence items for your interpretation?
So it's a multi-step process. The first thing that the collection of the evidence is typically on a swab or on a cutting of material. So if it's a swab, it would be a single-sided Q-tip, and that Q-tip will contain either the skin cells or whatever biological source of DNA that will be contained. Our first job is called the extraction process. We have to isolate the DNA from that swab. That's in a very simple chemical process to isolate the DNA. Once we have the DNA isolated, we have to determine whether or not we have enough human DNA or any human DNA to continue with the genetic analysis. That is the quantification step. So once we have the quantification analysis, that will let us know whether or not we have enough DNA to proceed with the genetic analysis. If we do, we proceed with the genetic analysis, which ultimately ends up in data for me to interpret.
Once you have the data and complete your interpretation, do you prepare a formalized report?
I do.
And do you do that every time you analyze evidence?
Yes.
Okay. And is it the regular practice to keep and maintain these records at the crime lab?
Yes.
And do you have knowledge of the information contained within what I'm going to show you has been previously marked and identified as State's Exhibit number 16? Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. scroll through. States Exhibit number 16. Do you recognize this
I do.
report? Okay. Your Honor, I move to admit States Exhibit number 16.
Mr. Fatico?
Could we approach, Your Honor?
Yep.
All right. Were you able to come to several conclusions about certain pieces of evidence in this case for the Willoughby Hills Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your result and interpretation of the data related to evidence item number 6, the blue nitrile glove?
So the DNA profile that I obtained from the blue nitrile glove, it's a complex mixture representing a minimum of 4 contributors, which exceeds the laboratory's policy on the maximum number of contributors for drawing conclusions.
What does that mean, the maximum number of contributors?
So on this object, by looking at the data, I can tell that there were more than 3 contributors. Our laboratory does not interpret genetic profiles that indicate greater than 3 contributors. And in this case, this profile was greater than 3. It was at least 4, so we did not make any interpretation or comparisons.
So you can't identify any of the known standards on that evidence item 6, the blue glove, at all?
That is correct.
Okay. And scrolling down to the second page of your report, what was your conclusion about the swab of the gear shifter and steering wheels, and can you explain why they were combined?
Certainly. So let's start with the combination. So we're talking about contact DNA, and with contact DNA, there's oftentimes not a lot of genetic material left behind on objects. So if we have the opportunity to combine 2 items that are from within the same location that in a particular area, we are able to combine those swabs into one extraction to attempt to generate a genetic profile. Oftentimes with just one swab from one area, we don't have enough genetic material to produce a genetic profile. So the results of the combined extraction of the swabs from the Explorer gear shift and steering wheel, it's a mixture representing a minimum of 3 contributors. A portion of this mixture matches the standard from Nicholas Northrop, as would be expected as the primary operator of the vehicle. And assuming that Nicholas Northrop is one of those contributors, this DNA mixture profile is 1.28 million times more likely to occur if the mixture consists of DNA from Nicholas Northrop, King Isaiah Hagwood, and one unidentified contributor than if it just derives from Nicholas Northrup and 2 unidentified contributors.
And who were you able to exclude as contributors in this combined swab of the gear shifter and steering wheel?
So Pierre Butler and Caitlin Carlson are both excluded as contributors to this mixture DNA profile.
Does that mean that those people never touched the items that were swabbed that you analyzed?
What this means is I could not detect them within the profile in terms of a statistical association.
Is there a statistical association cutoff for the Lake County Crime Laboratory?
We report anything greater than 1 million times more likely, and in the field of forensics, it's a very conservative reporting because 1 million times more likely is considered in the field of forensics a strong association.
What was your conclusion about the swabs from the interior side driver door handle of the Explorer?
The DNA profile from the swabs of the driver's side interior door handle of the Explorer is a mixture representing a minimum of 2 contributors. A portion of this mixture matches the standard from Nicholas Northrup, and that would be expected as a primary operator of the vehicle. King Isaiah Hagwood, Pierre Butler, and Caitlin Carlson are all excluded as contributors to this DNA mixture profile.
And do you have any degree of confidence in your results and the reliability?
I am confident and certain that my results are reliable and accurate.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ross? Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Dr. Zavarella.
Good
We
afternoon.
meet again.
Yes.
First issue I'd like to take up with you focuses on timing.
Sure.
When you interpret when you interpret or analyze DNA samples, you have no way of knowing how long the sample was placed there.
No, I do not.
So if you were to be asked, was this DNA present on July 4th, 2024, you wouldn't be able to answer.
Correct.
July 3rd, you wouldn't be able to answer.
Correct.
And then in your direct, you talked about you can either exclude or indicate a probability.
Yes.
When you say indicate a probability, you cannot say it's a match.
No, not in the field of forensics. We wouldn't call it 100% from an individual, correct?
Well, not 100%. You can't refer to it as a match.
I can say I can say that 2 profiles match, but that's different than saying this profile is this individual's. I want to clarify that. So in terms of matching and meaning that I can't say it, this is 100% this individual's DNA. That is not something. Right. That is not what that indicates. Correct.
Okay. And States Exhibit 16, which you were just looking at.
Yes.
It looks like that was a report created with regard to Pierre Butler.
So there are several case subjects in this. There were 4 individuals listed on this related to this particular report.
But Pierre Butler's the only one that's in the heading. Would you agree?
I do not. I have Pierre Butler, Caitlin Carlson, King Isaiah Hagwood, and Nicholas Northrup on my laboratory report.
And the results?
If you can show it to me on what you're referring to specifically.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. I'll retract the question. So it was all 4 people, not just Pierre Butler?
Yes, that's correct.
And if I understood you correctly, there was nothing derived from the blue glove?
It was an uninterpretable profile.
Right, so
No
no use for
interpretation.
results.
Correct.
The gear shift, you were saying there was a probability that it was, there was Mr. Hagwood's DNA,
Correct.
and then Mr. Hagwood was excluded from the door handle.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
One moment here. Nothing further, thank you.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You may step down, thank you. Next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Detective Dominic Wren.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. See? Ms. Gold.
Thank you. Please say your name for the record, spelling your last name.
Dominic Wren, it's H-R-E-N.
Where do you work?
Lake County Sheriff's Office,
How long have you worked for the Lake County Sheriff's Office?
almost 11 years.
And in what capacity do you currently work there?
I'm a detective,
How long have you been a detective?
7 years.
And what are your responsibilities as a detective?
We conduct follow-up investigations, and then we also are responsible for retrieving jail calls, jail messages, and any kind of communications inmates may have with people on the outside.
Prior to becoming a detective, what was your position with the Lake County Sheriff's Office?
Was a deputy sheriff?
Are you a certified peace officer in the state of Ohio?
Yes.
And in your role as a detective with the Lake County Sheriff's Office, are you familiar with the jail?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the systems that the jail uses so that someone who is an inmate in the jail can contact individuals outside of the jail?
Yes.
What is the name of that system?
We use a system called Smart Communications.
And what are the different, how can an inmate use smart communications?
So when an inmate is booked in, they are assigned an ID number, and that ID number stays with them forever. So if they're booked in, released, and then if they're arrested again at a later date, that ID number stays with them. So when they get booked in, there's tablets in each of the jail ranges. There's like 4 or 5, so each of the inmates can share them. They log into this account, and then they create an account, or they have an account created for them, and then from there, they can issue what's called connections. So somebody on the outside can create an account, downloads an app, creates a username, and then they can connect. Then they can message each other, share photographs, mail, and then you also have the jail phones. There's 2 in each of the ranges for the inmates to share.
So if an inmate has a specific person who's not in jail they want to connect with, would that inmate send a request to that individual outside of the jail?
Yes, or somebody on the outside can also send a request to the inmate as well.
And is there a system that you have access to that keeps track of who and when inmates are sending requests to people from the jail?
Yes,
And what is that system called that you have access to?
that's part of Smart Communications.
And if you saw several pages from Smart Communications, would you be able to recognize it in court today?
Yes.
I'm showing you on your screen what has been marked for identification as States Exhibit 20A through C. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
And beginning with States Exhibit 20A, what are you looking at?
So these are invitations that would have been sent out by the inmate. In this case, it's the defendant, King Hagwood. So at the top of the page, you'll see his name, the 660200, that's his identification number. And then this is a list of invitations he has sent out, and it'll give you the date, time, and the phone number. He can input the name, he can also input the relationship, and then basically that's saying that he sent out an invitation to connect with this person through Smart Communications.
Then looking at States Exhibit 20B, what are we looking at?
So this is the, this is the connection history. So again, like I said, if they're booked in on multiple occasions, this connection history stays with them forever. So in this case, the top is the current connections. So those are people that the inmate or the person on the outside, they've either sent or received a connection, and they've essentially mutually agreed to be connected. And then at the bottom is just the connection history that'll show you dates and who sent the request, who accepted it, and then the date and time.
And looking at States Exhibit 20C, what are you looking at here?
So this is the profile for somebody that created an account. So in this situation, the person inputted a name of Sharina Brown. That person can list birthday, that'll be the age, they list an address, where they live, they can put a phone number, email address, and then at the very top you'll see that's the username that was created by Sharina Brown in this case.
And how are these records stored?
They're stored on the Smart Communication System, so we have access to them. I believe the road supervisors have access to this, as well as the supervisors in the jail. Those are the only people that can access this system.
And are these records kept within this system?
Yes, they are.
Are these fair and accurate copies of these logs as you were able to view them in the system?
Yes.
Have they been altered or changed in any way since you last saw them?
No.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit States Exhibits 20A through 20C.
Any objection to 28 through 20C?
No, Your Honor.
All right, they're admitted.
Permission to publish.
Go ahead.
So, Detective Wren, looking at what has been marked as States Exhibit 20A, now that we have it up on the screen, it says that this is invitations. So are these individuals who the defendant has attempted to send invitations to that have not yet been accepted?
Yes.
And we see a column that says relationship. Who would be the person inputting a specific relationship?
The inmate inputs that.
And would that be when they create the connection or send the message to connect?
Yes.
And then when it says delivered under status, does that mean that the message requesting a connection was delivered?
Yes.
Turning now to States Exhibit 20B. It says current connection. So under the top chart that says current connections, are these all individuals who have accepted a defendant's request in order to connect with them on this?
Yes,
email?
and yeah, it's who they're currently connected to. So you can accept the connection and then terminate it at any point. So as of the day this was printed, these are who the inmate's currently connected to.
Who inputs the address of the connection? The inmate or the?
No, that's going to be the person that creates the account on the outside.
And I see that there is not a phone number listed for any of the individuals who are in the top chart. Looking at States Exhibit 20C, is this what comes up on your end of the system when you click on an individual who an inmate has a connection with?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Cross?
Detective, do you monitor inmate contacts for each inmate?
Not for each inmate, no.
And what caused you to do that in this case?
I was asked by the prosecution to pull the jail calls and jail records for this particular defendant.
And are are you aware of any restrictions on the people with whom Mr. Hagel can have contact?
I'm not.
So there's no court order, no limitations?
None that I'm aware of.
One moment, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Step down. Next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Detective Powell.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Let's see.
Please state your name for the record, spelling your last name.
First name is Christian, last name is Powell, Powell.
Where do you work?
I work at the City of Willoughby Hills
For the police department?
for the police department.
And how long have you worked for the Willoughby Hills Police Department?
I've been there since 2020, so 5 years.
And have you held the position of detective for all 5 years of your employment there?
No, I was appointed a detective last January.
And prior to becoming appointed a detective, what was your role with the Willoughby Hills Police Department?
I was a patrolman.
Prior to working for the Willoughby Hills Police Department, did you work for any other police departments?
Yeah, I worked for the City of Maple Heights for about 2.5 years.
Have you worked for any other police departments in addition to Maple Heights and Willoughby Hills?
No.
As a detective, what are your responsibilities?
I follow up on investigations for patrol and assist them with whatever they need in regards to that.
Did you graduate from a police academy?
I did. I went to the Tri-C Police Academy in Parma.
Are you a certified peace officer in the state of Ohio?
I am.
Now, during this trial so far, we've heard testimony from several victims, including Bina Van Walker. Were you working on July 3rd, 2024, when a 911 call was placed regarding an aggravated robbery at the Pine Ridge Apartments?
I was not working that evening.
When did your involvement with this case begin?
When I came in the following morning at like 7 a.m.
And when you came in the following morning, were you made aware of what had happened the prior evening?
I was.
And were you also made aware of an incident that had happened in Shaker Heights?
Yes.
And where were you made aware that the incident involving Bina Van Walker had occurred?
I was made aware. Yes.
Where were you made
Oh,
aware
where?
that it had happened?
I was at the police station. The incident occurred at the Pine Ridge Apartments.
And are the Pine Ridge Apartments in Willoughby Hills, Lake County, Ohio?
Yes.
And what time did Willoughby Hills police officers respond to the Pine Ridge Apartments on July 3rd, 2024?
I believe it was
Overruled.
approximately 8:22 p.m.
The following day, when you came into work, were you made aware that a bolo had been released by the Willoughby Hills Police Department?
Yes, by Sergeant Kokenauer.
Were you also made aware that flock cameras had been checked?
Yes.
And what vehicle were flock cameras checked for?
For a maroon or a red Ford Explorer bearing the Ohio registration HYK 7490, I believe.
And who is the operator of that red Ford Explorer?
At the time, we did not know who the operator was.
Do you now know who the operator was?
We know who we believe to be the operator, yes.
And who is the operator of that vehicle? Who's the owner who uses that
Oh, the
vehicle?
owner of the vehicle. Nicholas Northup.
Are you familiar with where the flock cameras are located that are near the Pine Ridge Apartments?
Yes, at the entrance and the exit.
I'm going to show you what has been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 2C. Cowell, are you able to see State's Exhibit 2C on your screen?
Yes.
And what is this?
That's a overview of the Pine Ridge apartment complex.
And is this a fair and accurate copy of the, is this a fair and accurate map of the Pine Ridge apartment complex?
Yes.
Have you responded to the Pine Ridge apartment complex for calls in the past?
I have.
Would you say that you're familiar with that complex?
I am.
And have you personally seen flock cameras on the premises of the Pine Ridge apartment complex?
Yes, I have.
I'm going to approach you with a clicker. If you press the top button, it has a light. In using this, would you please point out where the flock cameras are on the Pine Ridge apartment property?
All right, you said it's the top button, correct?
The button with the circle.
Yeah, I'm clicking it. It's not.
Try double clicking it.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything from it.
Will you try one more time? Point it at the screen. Your Honor, may the witness step down and approach the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Too short to reach it, but it's up where that blue dot is that says entrance exit. There's a black camera right there next to the guard post.
And have you seen the physical camera in that location?
Yes.
So when a car is noted as going inbound and outbound on Parr Lane, would that be the location of the camera that is catching that activity?
Yes.
And while you're standing up there, when we're looking at Ridge Road, it appears that there is another exit onto Ridge Road, right below the words Ridge Road. Is that in fact an exit?
It is an exit, but it's always gated off and the gate's always locked, so no one ever comes in now.
So cars are physically not able to enter and exit through that entrance? Your Honor, the state would move exhibit.
That was admitted through Ms. Vanderwalker.
2A and 2B were, Your Honor.
2C, is any objection to 2C?
No, Your
All
Honor.
right, it's admitted.
Thank you. And upon our Willoughby Hills Police Department officers search for surveillance cameras that would have captured what Ms. Van Walker described in the parking lot of the Pine Ridge
Objection.
Apartments.
Overruled.
Yes, I believe they spoke to the manager of the apartment complex, and there were no cameras that would have captured the incident.
In your to the Pine Ridge Apartments, is it cameras are not working?
Your cameras that work.
A BOLO was released. Would Cleveland Police Department contained within that? And when you came to work on July 4th, were you aware that the Cleveland Police Department's vehicle?
Yes, I was made aware.
Were you made aware of whether an arrest
Where they arrested two individuals, Wood and the other by the name of Pierre Butler.
was King Isaiah Hagwood?
I believe he was 18 years old.
After you were made aware that an arrest had been made, did you ask Miss Van Walker to come to the Willoughby Hills Police Department to conduct a photo lineup with her?
I did, and we met at the police station on July 10th.
What is the process that you use to prepare a photo lineup?
We use, which is the Ohio Law Enforcement Gateway. It basically provides us with access to a bunch of different resources, mainly the BMV information for everyone in Ohio. I believe some people in PA and maybe another surrounding state, but we mainly use it for that purpose, and I used it for in this particular case, to create a photo lineup.
So you looked at OLEG in order to see if there was a recent picture of King Isaiah Hagwood to use
Correct.
for the lineup. And upon looking in OLEG, was there a recent picture that you could use for this lineup?
The most recent picture he had on file with the BMV was from, I believe, either 2021 or 2023, and it was not recent.
So because you could not use that photo, what photo did you use instead?
I received the booking photographs from Cleveland PD via Shaker Heights, and got the most recent photographs of both Pierre Butler and King Isaiah Hagwood.
So would the date of that photograph be July 4th, 2024?
Yes.
And once you have a photograph of King Isaiah Hagwood that you would like to use for your lineup, how do you continue with the process of creating the photo lineup?
So for Hagwood's photo lineup, like I said, generally we use BMV photos for his. It was an arrest photo, so he was in an orange smock. Obviously I did not want to use an orange smock with everybody else in regular clothing. So I used the ODRC records, the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction records, that just compiled a list of just booking photos that matched his general physical descriptions, age, like height and weight, hair color, hairstyle, tattoos, no tattoos. There's a bunch of different characteristics you can base it on. And the OLEG will generate the photos for you, and you pick the photographs that you want to use for your lineup via that.
So do you personally input the defendant's personal identifying information into the software?
Yes, and for this one, like I said, I used his booking photo. I entered that in, and then they gave me other photographs based on that seed photo.
And when you say seed photo, are you referring to the defendant's booking photo from July 4th, 2024?
Correct.
And once you have other photographs generated, how many do you choose to include in your lineup?
So there's 6 total, so I choose the seed photograph plus 5 more randomly generated photographs.
And how many photographs are randomly generated?
It's an endless, well, I wouldn't say endless, but whatever they have in their system that matches those parameters that I give it, I just click through and pick photos that I want to use for that lineup.
And why do you choose 5 additional photos, making that 6 photos in total?
That is the recognized procedure for photo lineups.
So after you have these 6 photos, what do you do next?
You select each photo, you place them in a folder, label the folders 1 through 10. 4 of the folders are blank pictures. The first 6 are the subject's photograph and 5 other photos, and then the last 4 are all blank pictures. You label them 1 through 10. We have our own department, like a lineup guideline that you throw with it, and then whoever does the lineup has everything they need to complete the photo lineup for you.
How do you document the names of the individuals' photos within each folder?
There's a lineup key that comes with the lineup that we use.
And how do you document specifically which folder each individual is in? Since I put the thing, I know which photo is in which folder, and I just keep track of that. How do you keep track of that?
Photos are labeled 1 through 10.
And do you have written down somewhere whose photograph is in each folder?
Yes, yeah, I know whose photo is in which folder, correct.
So after you put the photographs in the folders labeled 1 through 10, how do you decide who will administer the photo lineup?
Generally, they recommend a blinded administrator, which is someone that does not know who the suspect is and does not know the facts of the case. In this case, I used a double-blinded administrator. It just so happened that Patrolman Weidrich did not know about the case, and he had no idea who the subject was. So I asked him to do it.
So when you say a double-blind administrator, what does that mean?
That means he does not know the nature of the case or anything about it, and he does not know who the suspect is in that case.
Why is it ideal that you would have a double-blind administrator?
So there's no chance of any kind of indication during the lineup to the victim of which photo we would like her to pick or anything like that.
Did you take the steps that you described for creating a lineup for King Isaiah Hagwood for Pierre Butler as well?
I did, except for with Pierre, his B&B photograph looked more like his current self, so I just used his B&B photograph.
Were you present when Miss Van Walker completed the photo lineups?
Afterwards, yeah, I did go in and speak to her.
While she's completing the photo lineups, are you in the room with her?
No, I'm not in the room.
And before she begins completing the photo lineup, do you know which folder each suspect is in?
Yes,
I'm going to show you what has been marked for identification as States Exhibits 3A through G. Do you see a photo lineup on the screen in front of you?
I do.
And take a minute to look through this photo lineup. Is this the photo lineup that you created?
It is.
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the photo lineup that you created?
It is.
Has it been altered or changed in any way since you last saw it?
It has not.
And does this document you're looking at include the key that you created?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves exhibits 3A through G into evidence.
Any objection, 3A through G?
No, Your Honor.
All right, they're admitted.
I'm now going to show you what has been marked for identification as states exhibits 4A through G. Are you able to see that on the screen in front of you?
I can.
And is this exhibit the lineup that you created for Pierre Butler?
Yes,
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the lineup that you created?
it is.
Has it been altered or changed in any way since you last saw it?
It has not.
Your Honor, the state moves exhibits, and does this include the key on the last page?
It does.
Your Honor, the state moves exhibits 4A through G into evidence.
Any objection to 4A through G?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, they're admitted.
And did you have the opportunity to interview Pierre Butler?
I did.
And because you saw him in person, were you able to verify that this picture that you used for your lineup is in fact how he looked around that time?
Yes.
So when you create a photo lineup, do you look for similar backgrounds?
Yeah, similar physical characteristics, yes.
And when you look for similar physical characteristics, when you're looking through all of these pictures, if someone has physical characteristics that are not similar enough, do you make the decision not to use that picture?
Yes.
Now, as part of your investigation, were you able to gather evidence that the Shaker Heights Police Department obtained?
I did.
And what evidence was that?
It was two cell phone dumps. It was I think 3 DNA samples, one from the steering wheel of the Red Explorer, one from the gear shifter of the Red Explorer, and from the driver's door handle of the Red Explorer. Those were all DNA swabs. And then 2 physical cell phones, and then a blue glove.
Whose physical cell phones?
They were listed as King Hagwood's cell phone and Pierre Butler's cell phone.
And whose Cellbrite extractions were they?
The Cellbrite extractions were from those cell phones.
And do you know the phone numbers for King Hagwood's cell phone and the Cellbrite extraction?
His was 216-801-1094, I believe.
And do you know the phone number for Pierre Butler?
I cannot remember the last 4 of Pierre Butler's.
Is there something that would help refresh your memory?
Yeah, the report or the data extraction itself.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with a copy of his report.
Go ahead.
Detective Powell, you've indicated that you don't remember Pierre Butler's phone number. Would looking at your report help you remember it?
It would.
So I'm going to ask you to look at your report until you find it, and then look up and I'll take the report away.
Okay.
And what is Pierre Butler's phone number?
216-333-7964.
Were you able to determine that the phone numbers for both King Hagwood and Pierre Butler were AT&T phone numbers?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned the evidence that you retrieved from the Shaker Heights Police Department was one of those items a firearm.
No, it was not.
Was a firearm recovered in this case?
A firearm was not recovered.
How do firearms work? How does a gun work?
Just generally, it has an ammunition. You put the ammunition in the chamber. It has a firing pin. When that firing pin strikes the primer of the ammunition, it causes a miniature explosion within the barrel of the firearm, and that pushes the projectile out of the firearm.
Are guns, as you've just described them, deadly weapons?
They are.
Are they capable of inflicting or causing death?
They are.
And based on your understanding of what happened, was the firearm that Hagwood possessed on July 3rd, 2024, possessed, carried, or used as a weapon?
Yes,
Did you have the opportunity to interview the defendant?
I did.
And when was that?
It was on April 14th, I believe is the day we arrested him.
Of 2025?
2025, yes.
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Yep. All right, let's take about a 10-minute break.
footage of when Hagwood was arrested.
Do you see your initials on this
I do,
file?
yeah.
And do you recall watching this file and then initialing?
Yes, I did.
And when you say footage from when he was arrested, are you talking about an interview that you were able to do with him after his arrest?
Yes, yeah, in our jail.
And was this video, as you saw it, a fair and accurate recording of the interview that you had with the defendant?
It was.
And other than agreed upon redactions, had it been altered or changed in any way?
No.
The state moves Exhibit 14 into evidence? Exhibit 15 into evidence?
Any objection to 15?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, submitted.
Permission to publish, Your
Go ahead.
Honor? And Detective Powell, where does this interview take place?
It's in the booking room of the Willoughby Hills Police Station.
And what is the date?
The 14th of April, 2025.
Thank you. Is that you in the green shirt?
It is.
And who else is in the room with you?
Patrolman Baldwin with our police department, and then King Hagwood.
Pausing the video at 1 minute and 42 seconds, did you just flip a switch to turn on the sound in the interview room?
Yeah.
Police officer, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the advice of a lawyer before being questioned and the presence of a lawyer while being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you in questioning if you wish, and you can decide at any time to exercise these rights. And not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am skipping from 2 minutes and 22 seconds to 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
Willoughby Hills, you have a guy. Willoughby Hills, you have a guy friends out here or something?
No.
You ever come out here? Do you know why you would be? Do you know why you would be arrested right now?
No.
When's the last time you've been to Willoughby Hills? You have a guy friends out here or something?
No.
You ever come out here?
I'm pretty sure that I got my twin.
Your twin?
I got me mixed up, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you got a twin?
He's not my blood, so we just grew with each other, like, we grew with each other. His mama, my mama.
Oh, who's that?
We look alike, so I'm here to cooperate, so.
Okay, and who's that?
Jamarion Bradley. Is that a roach?
Jamarion Bradley?
Is that a roach?
Where?
Right here.
No, stink of.
This ain't going on my document, is it?
But yeah,
No,
what do you mean?
like, if I
Like to check the charge?
No, if I corroborate, this ain't going on my docket, no snitch or nothing.
Oh, no. Why would it?
Cause I know people who be snitching on people that be on people's dockets.
Oh, no.
I ain't doing
No,
that.
we don't put anything on the docket. Anything you say with anything in here, if it's being recorded, it's gonna be in our system, but
So my friends, you never gonna see that?
your friend is Jamarian Bradley?
No, I'm talking about my actual friends.
No,
Okay.
not unless they're your attorney or something.
Alright.
No, they won't see none of this.
Yeah, I'm cooperating.
What's Jamarian's birthday?
It's November, son. I don't remember about her.
Okay. And why do you think he would be mixed up in all this?
Cause he look alike. And he do too much.
What has he done recently?
See, he's 17, so like his case is different. Like he's known for this. Like
Who does he know?
no, he got his own little group of friends. I'm known for hooping and stuff. Like you can look me up and go search me. I'll be
Yeah.
hooping a lot. So.
Oh, we put it on Facebook or something?
I'm on Instagram, Instagram, at Zona George, Irby Turner, everywhere as known hoopers.
Oh, okay. What is around here?
No, I don't be around here.
No, like just in Cleveland.
Oh no, I've been to Cleveland, Houston, Texas. There's a couple of places I hooped at. But
Okay.
that was for like AAU teams though. Like we traveled.
Oh, you played AU teams in high school?
Mm-hmm.
You just play, what is recreational now?
And I'm also into cross country and track.
Oh, okay. All right. So what, do you run marathons?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you run one recently?
No. Recently I've been working like fixing houses and stuff. I like construction.
Oh, okay. So you guys a decently steady job then?
Yeah.
That's good. You still staying with your mom? Is that, what's her name? Brown? Sharina? Is that it? Sharina? That's your mom?
That's
Okay.
what's in my mom.
Okay. And Jamarian, does he stay there with Sharina?
He stay down the street. He stay on 930 Kansman.
Oh, okay. And your mom's still, I can't remember what address it is. Nah. That ain't the right one. Don't put me, that's not the right, it's right there.
Oh, I just want
That's his buddy. I know, I just wanna make sure I don't take the wrong one. I don't know where it is,
That's his buddy. Don't say my buddies.
oh, sure, so.
I don't got no buddy. What's the name on there?
Pierre? Pierre Bryant? That's your buddy, dude.
That's his buddy.
That is your buddy, dude.
I knew you was gonna say that. That's
That's
his
your
buddy.
buddy.
No, that's not my buddy.
That is 100% your buddy, dude.
That is not my buddy.
It's not your buddy.
Oh, mama, that's not my buddy.
No?
No. Oh, my dead sister, that's not my buddy.
He knows our information from us, and he gives people that information, or what?
You know, everything's on. We grew with each other. I know half of everything going on.
So he knows like your social security and your birthday, and
You know my birthday and stuff, yeah.
what he just told you? Same year as you? You got the same year as
Look
you?
at me right now. Y'all was like, oh, y'all was just like. Look him up, Jamarian Brown.
Okay, so is it J.A., is there an apostrophe in there?
J-A-M-A-R-I-O-N.
And Bradley's just Bradley, B-R-A-D-L-E-Y?
Yeah. Look him up. I was like, what the, just alike.
Alright, what's the name? Bradley.
Jamarian Bradley.
Yeah, Jamarian is his last name. Or no, his first name, I'm sorry.
Can you spell that for me?
J-A-M-A-R-I-O-N.
I-O-N?
Yeah, Bradley.
Yeah, I know the birthday.
It's November, it's cause he just turned 17, his birthday, he is Scorpio, I think it's November 4th. It's November sign.
Okay.
He's 17.
Mm-hmm.
Jamari and Jashawn,
Let me see a picture.
Sophia Avenue.
Yeah. You know we did, cause I had my mom contact him, so I want to turn this over to him.
When? Did he turn himself in?
No, he's hiding at home. He deactivated his Instagram, he's hiding at home.
I mean, y'all, that's a bad,
That's an old picture. All the way right here. That's
his nose is completely different, his lips are completely different, his chin is next to each other.
He's saying that to me next to each other. Look at the recent picture.
I don't know, dude, it's the best we can do. What, is yours longer now?
Yeah, his jersey's new, that's an old picture. His jersey's about the same size as mine, and down here.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying, I don't believe it was firing like this.
That's it.
Yeah, while we're waiting, I'm gonna get your photo. Can I have you stand up for it? Clear your eyes for me. Thank you. Let's go ahead and look straight forward. Perfect opportunity for an album cover. Alright, just go ahead and face that thermometer for me. Back up a few steps. Clear the dress one more time for me. Thank you. Alright, you're good.
This involves, so after that call was taken, it ended up here, in our apartment complex here. Okay? And at this apartment complex, a male that matches your description got out and tried to steal a lady's car in the parking lot there. And he pointed a gun at her head. Or someone that looks like you pointed a gun at her head.
And I'm
So
willing,
they give you your keys and your cell phone.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes to prove I'm innocent. So,
Which is good. You should try to defend yourself.
defend or tell the truth, that's the difference.
Defend yourself, tell the truth, yeah, it's nice. It's always nice.
Your Honor, we are skipping in time from 13 minutes and 21 seconds to 15 minutes and 49 seconds.
So is there a reason why you and Pierre would have been up here in the first place? Like, do you know somebody that lives up
It's
here?
me and Pierre.
You have it, you know who Pierre and your buddies with him?
First of all, I'm telling you, it wasn't me. I wasn't down there. Yes, I was in the car and I got arrested for it, but I wasn't down here.
You were in the car after.
I didn't even know the car was stolen. When I got the car, nobody told me it was stolen.
And when did you get in the car?
Oh my God.
Well, you're saying you were in the car when you got arrested. Earlier that night, that car was here.
But I'm telling you, I wasn't here. I was in Italy. I was
When did they pick you up then? And where did they pick you up from?
I got picked up in Woodland, 9:30.
Do you know where it was time?
No, it was late. It was
It was already dark?
yeah.
It was dark? Okay. Who picked you
The police. Killing the police.
Now, who picked you up in the Explorer?
Wow. You know it's late.
I'm not trying to be slick.
I just told you.
Who picked you up?
I just told you the first thing I looked
If
at
you-
was Jamarion Bradley.
If you're here to tell me you're gonna tell the truth and all
I'm
that,
telling you the truth, Jamarion Bradley. You keep
he was driving the car, he
You
picked you
tell
up.
me he's the one who was in with me. He's one of the. Ask Pierre brother. He'll tell you. Jamarion Bradley. Me and him was two different.
Why would Javon and Bradley come over this way with Pierre?
If you look at me, what do you do? I'm not no fucking party.
Okay. We're in Louisville when they tried to rob somebody.
No.
But you were in Cleveland in the car when you guys ran from police.
Yes.
Who was driving it?
How many times I gotta say the name?
And where was he? Did he use that away?
No, he went with some fucking female.
And where did she come from?
I don't know.
Where was she in the car?
He got his own little shit going on. I don't know what the fuck I just know I was already at his house.
You were already at his house.
Yes, I'm always at his house. You can damn near say I live there.
At Jamarian's house.
Yes. His mama know me by heart.
What's his
I'm
mom's
like
name?
her son.
What's his mom's name?
Mom. Mama
Mom's?
knows.
Mama Dukes, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know her actual name?
Mm-mm. I call her Mama Dukes.
You know her phone name?
No. My mom got her phone number.
Okay.
We're skipping in time from 1847 to 19 minutes and 50 seconds.
And he got blonde in his dress suit?
1930, I apologize.
His hair is straight brown. His shit is like always brown.
It's all brown?
Yeah, like
It's not black and brown.
his is naturally brown. Mm-mm. He's not like mine. His is naturally brown. It's down here it's naturally brown.
Your Honor, we're skipping from 19 minutes and 51 seconds to 22 minutes.
Okay, so it's actually this kid, then
But I'm telling you the truth about this though, because I'm not about to go down for nobody.
okay, and it's, you know, if that's the case, and it's actually this kid, then we'll go from there, you
I'm
know?
not going down for nobody.
You don't know Jermaine's phone number then?
No.
Or he still stays
He still
on that address?
Yes, he still stays there. Because I even have people reach out to him and tell him to come down here and tell the truth. I told him, bro, you better go down there and tell him what you did. Even my mom tried to contact him, but he just said, they said he disabled his Instagram.
Did
Yeah, he disabled his Instagram and stuff. And he told them he's not coming down here to say nothing. So, but I'm not going. I already told my dukes. My dukes told me, tell y'all the truth. She said, tell y'all the truth and corroborate.
Okay. So just, that night, what were you doing? If you can recall.
I was
What you have been doing?
I was in Sophia smoking.
Without him though?
No, it was me and my cousins and them. We all was smoking. But they moved. Cause Jamarion, I stayed across the street from my cousins. That's how I met him.
So this was before you got into the Explorer?
Yeah, I met him cause he was cool with my cousins and them. And my cousins,
Jamarion?
they stayed across the street from each other. That's how I met him.
That's like you guys kind of grew up together a little bit?
Yeah.
So prior to getting in the Explorer, you were smoking at his house?
No, I was smoking across the street. Then I was going to his house. Like we all
Smoking at your cousin's house and then going to
when they moved, I started going to his house because I stayed down the street. My cousins in the move from Sophia, and I started going to his house because I stayed down the street from him.
So you spent the whole night before that smoking?
Yeah, smoking and playing Mortal Kombat.
Playing Mortal Kombat. Who else was with you?
Me and my cousins and them.
How many cousins?
It was a group of us.
What are the names?
Curtil, Keyshawn, what was it there? Yeah, Curtil, Keyshawn. Yeah, that's about it, probably.
So you get one of their phone numbers? Like you call them?
I don't got their phone numbers. I haven't spoken to them since the end of last year. And they moved, we all just stopped talking to each other. Only reason I was still talking to Jamari after he stayed down the street.
Also, I got no way of talking to them and seeing if they were planning to walk on that with you.
No, cause
You guys coming out here?
I didn't know it was him, and Pierre Butler knew it too, so.
When was that time you talked to Pierre?
After last time I spoke to him, but when everybody moved, after everybody moved, I stopped talking to him, cause he started acting weird.
Like, was it in the winter? This fall, like after summer?
No, this was during summer.
Still during summer?
Like, yeah, summer was about to end.
Like before school usually
It
starts?
was after my Dukes picked it up. I would probably say like a week after that, I stopped being cool.
Pierre.
Yeah, cause he started acting weird. He started hanging around weird people.
I don't need weird people.
They started bringing Christian people around, people on church.
Okay. You haven't talked to him since?
No.
So you don't know what his phone number would be?
Y'all should have it, I'm assuming.
It's the same number that was over there?
Yeah, just let us have it.
Okay, did we get your current phone number?
This would be, what? No, I got a new number.
Yeah, we need it for the court, because the court's gonna need to call you. What is the number?
It's like see, I don't even know about her. That's a new number.
So if I called your mom, would she have anything to lose?
Yeah,
So would you have your mom's phone number?
Yes, I do. I better know her.
Hey, what?
216-799-4473.
That's the one we have.
That's the one we have for mom.
Yeah, well, for him, but it's mom's
One of these numbers I tried to call and it was out of service. I think it was that one.
No, that number worked.
This one still works?
I spoke to my mom earlier.
Earlier today?
Yes.
Had that number?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys still live at the same address?
Yes, sir.
Wanda Avenue, is where it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I talk to Pierre,
Pierre gonna say that.
Pierre will tell me that he was with Jamarian and not you.
Yes.
Is that what you?
Your Honor, we are skipping in time from 27 minutes and 10 seconds to 30 minutes and 38 seconds.
Do this, I'd like to help you. Do this, I'd like to help you figure out who actually did it then. Because the lady that, the victim, she said you did it. She picked you out.
Pick me out. She picked me out.
Literally ran up a bunch of 10 random photos. She picked your face. And said she recognized the tattoo, recognized the hair,
Recognize.
and recognized your face.
That's how I knew she was. I just got this tattoo. I don't even have tattoos.
Let me see here.
Ain't no video, no video footage or nothing.
No.
No,
If it be a video footage, then
that's bullshit.
it's better for us. Let's see here. Okay, so that I made a mistake. She said the guy who approached her had no face and neck tattoos.
Right, I have many tattoos.
Well, now you do.